Hi and welcome to this daily stretch for splits video. The aim here is to get you closer to or maybe even into your full Hanuman, your full splits. The aim is to ease the body into the pose, not forcing it into anything. So I do recommend having at least one block, preferably two, and maybe you will need a strap. If you don't have a strap, grab a t-shirt or anything else that is sort of firm that you can use. And we're going to get straight into it. So I do also recommend your body being a little bit warm. It doesn't have to be, but if it's not, just be extra careful. So we're going to start on hands and knees. And the first thing that is going to happen is the right leg is going to come forward into a lunge position. And we are stretching our lunge here. You can use your blocks. I would want you to come up a little bit with your torso. If you're happy with your hands on that front knee, you can do that. But try to stay upright because we are targeting the hip flexors on the left side here. Most people think of splits as a hamstring stretch, but we do definitely need long hip flexors and quads as well because that leg going back needs to have the mobility required to get flat into the pose. So we start with our hip flexors here. And I want you to focus on breathing and letting go. So there is no pushing, there is no pulling into any of these positions. We are having a conversation with our body, maybe tuning in and seeing where the tightness is sitting, and breathing into that space to let go of some of the tension. So that breath by breath, we can soften our bodies into the pose. And it might take your body a long time to get there, to feel safe in the stretches that we do. But keep reinforcing it. Every time you get into a stretch, you are not pushing into it, making your muscles feel unsafe and then therefore tense up. But you are breathing into it, asking the body to soften. Shift the hips back into a half Hanuman shape. So crawl your front foot forwards a little bit. Flex it up to the sky. And then I want you to pull your right hip back. If the hands can't reach the floor here, grab your blocks and put your blocks underneath your hands. And what we're aiming to do here is not to curve the crown of the head to the knee, but to sit the hips back. So it's almost like the feeling of sticking your butt out, getting the belly to touch or get close to the thigh. So if that's impossible for you with your hands on the floor, bring your hands up onto something higher. So if you're curving here, I want you to think sit bones back, arch the lower back. So we won't actually be arched, but that's the sensation we're going for here by hiking the hips backwards so that the belly can come closer to your thigh. And then breathe from wherever you are here, whether the hands are on blocks or you can fold fully over. If you are folding fully over, I want the belly to be completely connected to the thigh so that you can start to reach the crown of the head towards the toes. So our back is as straight as it can possibly be. Take 3 more long breaths here, really asking your body for permission to go deeper, making sure that your body allows you to fold further in, not you pushing yourself further in. Then we will get the opposite effect of what we're looking for here. Because all the body's going to do then, or your muscles, is that they're going to tense up to protect themselves from getting pulled. And then there is no flexibility gain here. Releasing with the exhale. And then coming up. Here we're going to rebend that front knee for a quad stretch. So the right arm is now going to reach up for a twist. Send it towards the back. This is where you might need your strap. If you cannot reach this foot with your hand, definitely get a strap so that you can hook your strap around your foot or your t-shirt around your foot so that you can get that leg up. And we are trying to pull the heel in towards our glute so that you can feel a stretch on the front side of your thigh. Now this stretch can get really intense, so don't go too far. I want you to be able to hold it, keeping your breath soft. So if you feel like you're holding your breath or your breath has become really short and strained, then you have gone too far. So finding a place where it's definitely challenging you in terms of your mobility, but it's not excruciatingly painful, basically. Soft breaths. 3 more deep breaths. Ask your body for permission to go a little bit deeper. If it's a no, it's a no. You can do this stretch again tomorrow. Maybe you'll get a yes. But we are practicing surrendering as much as we are trying to increase flexibility here. And then release that foot slowly so it doesn't catapult down. And then coming back into this half Hanuman shape. We're now moving into our full splits. So your blocks might come in handy here. I want you to be able to find a supported splits here. So that might mean 2 blocks or whatever you have. It can be cushions or boxes or something that can support your front leg. So the toes are up towards the sky here. So we are not turning the foot in and the front knee is straight. This leg at the back can be bent, completely fine, but I want you to keep this knee at the front as straight as possible, stacking yourself up as much as you can. And then we stay. Yay, the fun of practicing splits. But the reason I want you to get supported underneath your leg is so that you don't have to strain so much holding this position. You can actually release a little bit into it. And once you have done this video a few times, practice this a few times, you might be able to release a block, put it away, come down a little bit further, and then you might be able to release the other block. Obviously, don't do that now, but as you move through this practice multiple times, you might be able to come all the way down. And if you are down and you want to start folding forwards, do the same thing we did in our half Hanuman, where you try first to connect the belly and the thigh together so the spine is nice and straight. And trying as much as you can to be aware of the hips being centered to the front, not opening up to the side. So we're thinking of that right hip now being pulled back into the hip socket and the left hip moving down towards the floor. Let's take 3 breaths here. And coming back up however you can. It's always a little bit awkward to get out of that position, and then I want you to just shake that leg out behind you. Let's do the other side together too, shall we? Step your left leg forwards, drop the hips down, and then come up either with the hands on the knee or with the hands to block. So as long as you can keep your spine upright. and thinking about dropping the right hip down. Making sure that the heel is underneath the knee here. It just allows the hip to come a little bit further down. And then now that we're on the other side and I've said a lot of words on the first side, let's just close the eyes and breathe in stillness a bit more here. Imagine that with the inhale, you create space. And with the exhale, you release tension. Accepting where you are now. Not trying to force the body into anything that it's not ready for. Take 3 more deep breaths here. Just breathing in space, breathing out tension. And then start to shift the hips back, keeping the hands on the blocks if you need to. Flex your front foot, coming into your half Hanuman here. And check if your spine is curved here and your head is dropping down. So we're trying to avoid the crown of the head towards the knee shape. And sit the hips back so you're piking at the hip. So the crown of the head moves forward. Belly wants to get closer to the thighs. Hands can still be on blocks. You don't have to be all the way down to the floor. And the belly doesn't actually have to be close to the thighs, but that's the sort of tweak that we want to make into this shape, is that we want head forwards, sit bones back, and belly down. So that when you have a bit more range, you can start to maybe walk the hands forward and bring the crown of the head towards the toes. And here we stay together and just take some deep breaths, trying to release the tightness wherever that sits for us. Three more breaths here. And coming up, rebend your front knee. Right hand is down. Now the left arm is going to move up into a twist and then stretch towards the back. Grab your strap or whatever you have for support if you cannot reach your foot. And then we are sending the right hip down as we pull the right heel towards our hips. And we are here and breathing very gently. Try to send the breath into your belly. If you're now holding your core really tight, that is a sign that you're not letting your body soften. Release the belly, maybe you can release the jaw. And then we only have 3 more deep breaths here. And gently releasing that foot. Don't let it catapult down. Come back, stretch your front leg. We move into our full Hanuman now. So grab your blocks, your cushions, your boxes, whatever you need to stack underneath that left hip. And then sliding the front leg straight forwards, keeping the back knee bent and coming down for as far as you can. So as you can see here, if you have a look at my hips, I'm trying not to open my hips too much to the side. My right hip wants to come down, so the right hip bones wants to turn in and move down towards the floor. Now obviously I have quite a lot of mobility in this position. I have practiced for many years, so this is not something that has come overnight. It has required a lot of work for me to be okay sitting here for this amount of time. So if you keep working, you will get there too. I promise there is no miracle cure, just lots of stretching, patience, and breath. Okay? So from here, if you are at the point where you can fold forwards, do the same thing. Try to pike your hips back by pulling the left hip back into the hip socket or the left femur back into the hip socket. And then bring the belly towards the thigh as you move the crown of the head towards the foot. Softening, remember, keep reminding yourself to soften as when we get into challenging positions like full Hanuman or the splits, we tend to tense up. And the second we tense up, we will work against what we're trying to do here, which is lengthening the muscles. And for the muscles to lengthen, they need to feel safe in the stretch. When we are tensing, the muscles do not feel safe. And that means we either have to consciously try to let go a little bit more, or maybe you have gone too far and you have to come out of it a bit so you can stretch in a place where you can soften and relax. So I'm not saying this should feel comfortable, because it definitely won't feel comfortable if you are challenging yourself. But you should still be able to breathe deep and soft. Three more breaths. And coming up, come out of this however you see fit. Bring your legs together, maybe give that left leg a shake behind this time. And sit on your heels or in a comfortable seat. Okay, that's it. That was your daily stretch for splits. Obviously, you don't have to do it every day. You should probably have a rest day in between to let your muscles heal. But do it as often as you can, and I promise you, if you keep softening and releasing, you will be a lot deeper in this stretch in a short amount of time. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Namaste.